On Friday, 19th of June, 2026, 5 religious personalities were kidnapped in the northwest region of Cameroon. 2 reverend fathers, 2 reverend sisters, and a reverend brother were kidnapped in Bamenda. They were later released yesterday, Saturday, which happens to be the 20th of June 2026, after it is alleged that they had paid ransom and they were forced to record a video to address the issue, tagging Pope Leo XIV as one of the persons whom the separatists or the Amber fighters believe has what it takes to pressure Cameroon government in resolving this conflict. On that same Friday, the 19th of June, at least 2 to 3 military personnel were unalived in Likoko, a locality in Muyuka, chief town of Muyuka subdivision, Fako division, in the southwest region of Cameroon. Earlier within the week, there have been unaliving of individuals in the northwest region of Cameroon around the 11th of June. Before the 11th of June itself, the 9th of June, which was on a Monday, 2 persons were killed. The 2 are civilians and students. That week, recorded series of killings in the northwest region. For 2 weeks in the northwest region, from Monday to Sunday, there have been continuous killings. On Thursday, the 18th of June, a civilian was killed by Amber Boys. And after he had been killed, the Amber Boys released a video where they forced him to explain how to describe himself as a black leg, and explain that it is because of him that some Amber fighters have been killed, that he was working with the military, and so on and so on. Blame game keep coming up left and right, and every day there have been an increase in violence in the northwest and the southwest region. Within the last 3 weeks, violence have skyrocketed in the northwest and the southwest region. Separatists were also killed earlier this week, and some were killed in Bui division, the northwest region of Cameroon. A similar thing had occurred in Muyuka. How long shall the people keep crying? How long shall Cameroonians keep dying? This October will clock 10 years from the Anglophone crisis, which began peacefully in October 2016 with the teachers and the lawyers. And the lawyers were then maltreated, tortured, beaten as common criminals by forces of law and order, where staging a peaceful protest. And in November, university students in University of Boya were beaten, tear gas, some detained, and some people in Moliko were beaten. There were random trashing of individuals in that November 2016. And this saw the formation of a consortium, which became known as the Anglophone Civil Society Consortium. And in December 8th, in Bamenda, the city came about. The CPDM was about to hold a rally, and the youth from the northwest region said no way, and some people were killed. And that witnessed the movement of the consortium, where President Paul Biya himself formed an interministerial ad hoc committee in early December for dialogue between the teachers and the lawyers. The wigs of the lawyers were seized by divisional officer and police officers, what many in the academic would describe as a taboo. However, the consortium interministerial committee was formed, one in Bamenda, another one in Yaoundé. The one in Bamenda was for the teachers, headed by Paul Gogomo, which was under the Prime Minister, head of government at the time, Philemon Yang. And the one in Yaoundé was with the lawyers, and that was to see to it that the grievances of the lawyers were brought forward. And in January, things did not go well. The meeting held, the leaders of the trade union of teachers insisted there must be a federal system that will protect the educational sector. The leaders of the lawyers also insisted that it is a federal system that will protect the bicultural and the bigerial nature and the common law system. This was when the government said a big no and saw the banning of the consortium on the 17th of January 2017 and the arrest of its leaders on the 19th of January 2017, and then came in the dreaded September 22, 2017. That was when the gate of hell was open. So now we are counting almost 10 years. What needs to be done that have not been done? And in September 30th, 2019, President Pobe acknowledged the existence of the Anglophone crisis and called for a grand measure national dialogue. And that was when the special status was born. With the special status, many expected that the violence will reduce. But the violence hasn't reduced. The UN Secretary General has come to Cameroon. The President of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki then, the Francophonie, Commonwealth Party of Scotland, even the Grand Master of Matters, the Grand Master, came to Cameroon. He cried when he landed at the airport. Many thought that these tears would bring peace and reconciliation. Still did not. Pope Leo XIV himself now has come. And in the eyes of those members of government who go to the Catholic Church, we of the Catholic Church believe that the Pope is a personal representative of Jesus Christ on earth, because he represents St. Peter, who happens to be on the rock, I'll be my church. And the Pope said dialogue is not a slogan. Peace cannot be decreed. Peace cannot be sloganated. Peace is worked for. And since the Pope left, several people have been killed. As the government replied, the message of the Pope, or was the Pope visit just for theatric or antic, because the moment of the vice presidential debacle was ongoing? Was it just to get Cameroonians off? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Javis. So I heard, so I was told, and so I have seen people posting Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all those of you celebrating Father's Day today. A special one to you, Engineer Dixon, who is here in the studio. Happy Father's Day to you. He is one of Cameroon's top scholar who is a researcher and also has trained several children in the higher educational family, and believe in the fact that we must invest in our future to empower Cameroonians to become the best versions of themselves. Happy Father's Day, happy Sunday. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday, Mr. Javis. Happy Sunday to our televiewers. Happy Sunday to our presidential candidate, Dr. Barrister Asong. Admire your courage. Happy Sunday to my family, especially my father in Kumba, Chutabi. Happy Sunday to my mother and my siblings. And most importantly, happy Sunday to my children who are watching me from home. I think it's another rare privilege we have to educate the common man and dissect some of the ills that are plaguing our nation. I think if we don't love Cameroon, we won't be taken on platforms like this to talk about issues that are disturbing our nation. We are doing so out of love, sincerity, and anticipation that we want a better Cameroon for our children, those that are there and those that are yet unborn. And we believe that the gods of our fathers and the God of this land of promise, will take course. Thank you for having me, Mr. Javis.
Land of glory and deep endowment forevermore. And why the land is bleeding and the land is seeing tears, blood on the street, as far as the northwest and the southwest region is concerned. In the studio, we are also joined by Dr. Barrister Asong Michael, who is here with us, a presidential aspirant of the 2025 presidential election. And also, it is his firm conviction that the youth must take their destiny into their hands and not be on the menu, but be on the table to determine how their food will be structured. He believes in the fact that leaders must pick a position and stand for it and defend it and explain why their position is what they have chosen, instead of fighting against each other opinion, but rather we should see how our collective opinion can build Cameroon, and no one should be below the law and no one should be above the law. Happy Sunday, Barrister Dr. Asong. And of course, I know you have a lot of people looking up to you as a father. You are not the father, but you have a lot of people looking up to you as a father. So happy Sunday to you and happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tah Javis. Once more, it's a privilege for me to be on your program. I would like to extend my greetings to my co-panelist, Engineer Dixon. I'm happy to be on this panel with you. I would also like to salute all my fellow esteemed Cameroonians, particularly those in the diaspora, because they are playing an excellent role to contribute in the development of our country and also in the liberation of our country, because today we seem to have been taken hostage by this regime which has been leading us for 43 years, and the expected development and prosperity which we all desired as Cameroonians, we aren't seeing it, and we are going from pit to hell. And I would also like to take this moment to express my deepest sympathy to the family members of all our soldiers who have been killed this week and also in the previous months due to the insurgents in the Anglophone regions. And we all know what is happening there regarding the Anglophone crisis. And not only to them, but also for the family members of those who have lost civilians or even fighters. And I would like to also pray that may their souls rest in peace. We as Cameroonians today, we realize that there is an escalation of the Anglophone crisis, which is something very sad. In 3 months, it will be the 10th anniversary of this crisis, and we are seeing no issue. I strongly believe that no army in the world can win a guerrilla warfare, not because they are weak, but because a kingdom fighting against itself can never prosper. It would not stand. And that is what is happening to our soldiers today and our civilians. And my encouragements to them, because I know that things are tight. I know that there are so many soldiers that don't wish the crisis or the conflict that is going on, but they are forced to do so. So they should be very courageous, and we shall do our best to put an end to this crisis, which is very, very easy to resolve. It just needs the political will of our political actors and leaders to resolve it. And lastly, my heart also goes to all our political leaders. I'm talking about our leaders, Anglophone leaders, who have been in prison now for over 9 years, since their illegal and arbitrary arrest from Nigeria, who have been tried, and unfortunately they will spend time in prison. I consider them as political leaders because their sentence and imprisonment are directly related to political issues, which could be resolved very easily. Moreover, we have political prisoners of the post-electoral crisis who are still being in prison, and some of them have not yet been tried.
Yeah, they have
like
not even
Mr. Chamani.
They have not even appeared before a judge.
They have not appeared before a judge, which is something unacceptable. And we have realized that in the justice system today in Cameroon, there is administrative slowness, which is being used by the system to punish those political leaders. Normally, in a well-structured and organized justice system.
That's been there for 8 months, eh?
8 months. Procedures are supposed to. How long will it take a state council to conduct investigations, or the investigative organ to conduct investigations? Does it need 6 months? No. So we are going to realize that these procedures, which are being slowed down by our justice system, has as aim to keep these people there, and that is very wrong. We cannot have a justice system that seems to favor a set of people or our leaders instead of favoring the people. Our constitution states clearly that justice is rendered in the name of the people of Cameroon and not in the name of anybody. So at the end of the day, this is where we find ourselves. We also have people like Patrick Menge, we have others like Alaji Lukman, we have even Mr. Esama Andre, the very popular activist who has been fighting against neo-colonialism. We can't be in a country where we have statues of French colonial masters in our major cities, whereas we don't have our own leaders, our own national heroes who fought for our independence. It's unacceptable. So this is the type of Cameroon in which we find ourselves.
We have names of people who have perpetrated violence and crimes against humanity in the colonial era, but they have streets named
to them, which is completely wrong. And I think Esama did his best once, I think 2-3 years ago, to construct a statue of Jongu Foncha, which he erected somewhere and which I think it was destroyed. Yes. I don't know by who. So these are the things that we are condemning today, and it's a call. It's a call for all of us. Youths, I think his case will be coming up next month, July, and I'll be there to defend him and other political prisoners. But now we need more mobilization, and it's a call for youths to get more engaged and to know that those people who are in prison did what they did to help them, to liberate them. And so they should also know that they have a responsibility towards them to assist them in any way that they can do. And it's not complicated. You must not obviously go out on the street to commit anything, but you can use your social media platforms to communicate, to raise awareness, which is very, very efficient when it concerns political affairs, because it's going to draw the attention of the international community and it's going to put pressure on our leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Engineer Dixon, the Pope has come, the Pope has gone, and of course, the truth is the Pope cannot detect what Cameroon government will do or should do because the state is a sovereign state. But what we have experienced is a surge in violence, recently surge in violence. Well, the question is, why is it happening, coming up now, when at the moment where we just had the restructuring of our constitution, creating, though some people still don't accept that restructuring, but it has been done, creating the position of vice president and looking at the dynamics. Why is it now that violence have increased in the northern and southwest region?
I think when the Pope visited Cameroon, he made it clear that peace is not gotten by decree. Mm-hmm. We work hard and tirelessly for peace. Mr. Javis, we want to appeal to the leaders. It's time for us to move from bullets to books. And I also believe development is a stronger antidote to violence. If you discover, in our last session I was here, the last time I was here, I called the attention of the government that cocoa farmers are suffering this year.
Yes. And
something needs to be done. Imagine a farmer who sold cocoa last season or last 2 seasons at 5,000-6,000 a kilo, and in anticipation of expansion of his financial capabilities, went to the bank and courageously took some money, only to discover that the products are now out. He can't even make half of what is owing the credit union. Mm-hmm. What happened? So it is no surprise. There is a direct connection between violence and frustration. Mm-hmm. We may be looking at a scenario where some frustrated farmers, youths, are now believing that the best thing to do is to join the separatist movement. And they have taken up arms and they are doing what they are doing. Does that make them less of a Cameroonian? No. You cannot determine the way an individual will react psychologically to a situation. Put 10 individuals in a room, present them with the same situation, believe me, you receive 10 responses. I want to believe that all the intellectual body that we have in Cameroon, those with wisdom and the professional core, the political core inclusive,
Yes.
it's time for us to abandon bullets and go back to the books. Let's start putting facts together and connecting it with wisdom. If we are thinking all our stomachs, we are pushing this country into peril. People are not observing. There is a demon that has already taken over Africa. It is expressing itself in different countries in different forms. In Nigeria, it's expressing itself in bandits and Boko Haram.
Yeah, and terrorism.
In South Africa, it's expressing itself
In xenophobia.
In Cameroon, it's expressing itself in the separatist movement and Boko Haram. I can go on. But it's a blood-sucking demon. And it is being ushered in by the evil practices of the leaders of these countries. They have chosen money over justice. They have chosen prosperity over the people. Prosperity to who? Not the nation, but to themselves. And where are we? It's like the love scene for 10 years is too much for this state not to put rest.
Yeah,
To
10
an
years.
insurgence of what's the population of Northwest and Southwest? Are we up to 4
Northwest is
million?
around 2.4 million.
2.4?
Then what? Yes.
Are you saying
Yeah.
if of a country of 27 million people, inhabitants, we can't address a situation of just 2 million people? And the crisis taking 10 years? No, somebody is lying. Somebody is not telling the truth.
But they will
No,
tell
it's not
that.
making
They will
sense.
tell that the government is doing a lot. That dialogue is a continuous process.
Because some people are benefiting. Just imagine, we're talking 10 years down the lane. Just imagine a young boy. This crisis started, he was just 10 years old. How old is he now? He's about 20 years. Where are people keeping their consciences?
And those born between a certain age are not 10
Why
years.
not look at the economic situation of these two regions? It is okay to some of them. CDC can no longer produce what it used to produce. It's okay to some people.
Even see these workers are currently on strike.
The government
Again.
has to borrow money to say they are sending money to
They
pay the
say
workers.
they have not been paid for 24 months. That they are producing.
It's okay for some people.
Has his salary every
Yes.
Please,
And his mission
Mr.
around.
Javis, we are using this platform to plead on the state and all the stakeholders. We love our military. They are doing a great job. But like Dr. Barrister Hassan said, no matter how powerful a military is, you can't win
War against your own
a
people.
guerrilla war, and talk less a war against your own people. Because at one moment, you'll be looking at this are my brothers. So, a political problem should be given a political solution, not just military solution. So, I'm using this platform to solicit with the state there should be a ceasefire, and most importantly, the release of political prisoners connected to this crisis, so that a true dialogue, inclusive dialogue that we have been championing can go on. And Mr. Javis, don't forget, there's this rehabilitation center that they created for those fighters. DDR. Do you know all of a sudden it is dying a natural death? We are not even, no information about it, nothing. We can't even see those people that have been rehabilitated and how they are living a normal life in the society. You people are journalists.
Some
Do a
are back on
documentary.
social media.
Do a documentary.
Yeah, we see
and
some of
let
them.
the Cameroonians people be informed
We see
on the transformation that have occurred to those who drop arms.
We see some of them on social media instead attacking people and calling some people names.
So, Mr. Javis, it's a very disheartening situation, and my sincere condolences go to the families of the military that have lost their loved ones in the incident in Moyoka. My sincere condolence also goes to Cameroonian citizens who have picked up arms and they are losing their lives. It is time for reason to come back to this country so we can defeat this demon once and for all, and remove ourselves from this part of obscurity and try to put ourselves on part of prosperity. What country are we implanting or trying to leave behind for our generation in this technologically very fast age? We are still reasoning as though we are in the 19th century. the world is moving ahead. We choose to be moving behind. Mr. Javis, I think our leaders need to wake up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barrister Asong. Let's face a very important issue that when we look at the Northwest and Southwest region, first of all, there is a frustration on farmers. People are not, first of all, doing well. Now, these are areas that used to produce great amount of cocoa. And where, especially those areas that you see violence have taken place, these areas used to focus on their cocoa. Now, cocoa prices have drastically dropped. And also with the fact that the conflict has been there for almost 10 years, that is it that it is more than the government to actually provide tangible solutions, not war solution, because the Pope said in his own speech that you cannot win peace by forcing people to drop their arms. So is it more above the government, or what is the problem?
Well, I think the first issue we are having with the Anglophone crisis is that there is lack of political will. And this lack of political will, for me, I believe, is intentional. It's intentional because, you see, most of our leaders and most Cameroonians don't know their history. They don't know their history. And even our educative system has made it in such a way that knowledge is not being given to the Cameroonian people. What they have struggled to do is to issue certificates and not to issue knowledge. So at the end of the day, we have Cameroonians who finish studies and all they have is a certificate and very little knowledge or practical know-how. And this affects every discipline. So now when we go into history, we are going to realize that so many things have been hidden from the people of Cameroon. When we look at how the French colonial master and the British colonial masters governed Cameroon, you realize that the British colonial master made use of the indirect rule. Mm-hmm. And in the indirect rule, they made use of local leaders to be able to govern their territories, which made a lot of sense because they were handing power to the leaders on ground to govern their people, and it made governance easier. But on the other hand, the French colonial master applied the principle of assimilation, and in the principle of assimilation, it was all about them still leading, dominating, controlling,
trying to make Cameroonians to become French citizens.
Exactly. So imposing their culture, imposing their ways, imposing their manner. And that's where the issue comes from. Because at that moment, you are having a colonial master who does not want to leave his colonial territory and who wants to always have that territory in his or her possession. And that's the reason why when the Southern Cameroons were given the option to join either Nigeria or the French Cameroon, of course, due to cultural background, due to ethnic origins and the rest, the Anglophone brothers saw themselves more attached to their French brothers and sisters. And that's why between the 1st of January 1960 and the 11th of February 1961, there were serious negotiations between the president of the French Cameroon at the time, called La République, mm-hmm. and the prime minister of Southern Cameroons, Jongo Foncha. Now, it's worth noting that the prime ministry, being the prime minister of Southern Cameroons, is equivalent to be a president, mm-hmm. because at that time Southern Cameroons applied the parliamentary system, and in the parliamentary system, just like in the UK today, we have a prime minister who is considered to be the head of state, and the French the French Cameroon, which had their president Ahidjo, and they negotiated. Of course, they had agreements amongst themselves. Agreed upon, but we have an idea of what it was all about when we look at how the Federal Republic of Cameroon was being created. So we had two federal states, and the Southern Cameroons, the French Cameroons, then there was a president, a vice president, and each territory managed its affairs according to its culture, system, legal system, educative system, and the rest. And we know that from the 1st of October 1961, when that Federal Republic came into existence, to the 20th of May 1972, when it actually came to an end with the creation of the unitary state after the Fumban Conference, there was no problem. So, of course, we believe that the agreements between the two leaders was that each territory will be considered equal to each other.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the general view, if there is a president who is a French of French origin,
Mm-hmm.
the second personality will have to be someone of English origin. We don't want to know if he's maybe vice president or any other thing, but the second personality is supposed to be someone of an Anglophone origin that is from the Northwest and Southwest. Because there's another issue that comes up when we want to talk about origins.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there is something we have realized. We have realized that those who originate from the French regions have been sending their children to English institutions. And at the time, we remembered and realized that most of our Anglophone boarding schools and public schools were being flooded by French origin Cameroonians, who went that way from these other regions and who were learning English. And now today, after 15 years, they know how to speak English perfectly well, and they now claim to be Anglophones. No, it's not because I know how to speak French that I am a French. It's not because I know how to speak English that I am a British or I am an American. I think that there are principles. If somebody originates from a particular region, that is where you come from. Now, if you go and learn a language, does not make you a Southern Cameroonian.
Does not make you an origin of that person.
It does not make you an origin of that place.
Yes.
So
just like learning Chinese doesn't make you
a Chinese. You see. So we realize that those were the intentions of our founding fathers, to build a type of hybrid Cameroon where there will be that cohabitation between those who originated from the Southern Cameroons, the Anglophones, and those who originated from the French Cameroons, the Francophones. But now, what are we seeing today? We are seeing a total rupture of what is supposed to be the relationship that we have today. First of all, Aijo and his crew tricked our founding fathers, Foncha and the rest, and he imposed a unitary state. He imposed a unitary state because after the 20th of May 1972, we never heard any longer about Foncha.
Okay, now nobody knows exactly what was agreed at Fumban.
Yes, nobody knows.
Even the chapter conference that came, nobody could really say that this was the Fumban Accord.
Exactly. The only thing we realized was that we saw a new figure. Muna stepped up, becoming the second personality, and all the rest.
Okay.
And these are the things that we must explain to our young Cameroonians. We must explain to our French brothers and sisters that ab initio, the relationship between the French and the English Cameroons was being violated, was being void. And that is the reason why we are having all the issues we have today. Because when you don't respect these principles, of course, those who come after will follow the same pattern. And now, we saw that when Aijo was about to, I don't know if he was being manipulated or anyway, he decided to step down. He put another leader in the likeness of the French colonial master, who, as I said from the beginning had as principle of governance assimilation. Assimilation is being that we must
So,
absorb.
but President Pobia attests to this in the Mo Ibrahim speech where he said, on avait la possibilité de les intégrer, mais ce n'est pas marché.
Yes, no. The thing is, that is the impression that he is giving. But the truth about it is that it is working in a way, because now they are using force and they are imposing it. What is happening to us now?
So
the Anglophone crisis, they are refusing to resolve this Anglophone crisis. They are failing because of all.
So in Russia, you are saying that the surge in violence and why we have this violence currently right now is simply because the government has refused to solve it.
They have refused, and they are not.
Because engineers have been asking questions that what does it take to solve it?
They are not refusing to solve it because they don't want to solve it or that they cannot solve it.
So it's not more than the government to solve it.
It's not more than the government to solve it. If they are refusing, there's lack of political will. And the chain is from the French colonial master. And that's the reason why, like our brothers in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are kicking out France. Because if we, as the young African politicians and Cameroonian politicians today, we don't understand that our problem stems from our colonial master, then we are missing the mark. And it is important for us to know this chronology, because as I have always said, Southern Cameroon was a state. President Biya repeated it in 2011 during the 50th anniversary of our union. He repeated it that Southern Cameroon was a state.
Now that history has not forgotten.
That
Boya was once a capital.
Yes.
Of Southern Cameroon.
Of Southern Cameroon.
That was 2014.
Yes, 2014. Thank you.
Boya.
Yeah. So we must acknowledge it. And I think that the issue our French brothers have is that they are considering the Anglophone regions just like any other region. And if you look at it that way, then you're missing the mark. And that's why it's important for us to remind our French brothers and sisters that Southern Cameroon
was a country,
was a state. And I'll give the reason why. Even though it wasn't recognized by the UN as a state, but it fulfilled the 4 criteria provided by the International Convention of Montevideo, which actually provides for the existence of states, the duties and responsibilities of a state. And in that international convention, it mentions that for a particular entity to be called a state, it must fulfill 4 criteria. The first criteria is that it should have a territory. The second criteria, Southern Cameroon had a territory. The second criteria is that it should have a people. Southern Cameroon had a people. The third criteria is that it should have a government. Southern Cameroon had a government led by Prime Minister Anglophone, with its own constitution, with its own parliament, with its own military in place. And lastly, the fourth condition is that that particular place or people should be able to interact with other nations that are already a country. And we are going to realize that Prime Minister Anglophone had negotiations with President Ahidjo. So of course all the 4 criteria are being fulfilled, and that is why Southern Cameroon, as I've always said, was a state. And if we take into consideration that Southern Cameroon was a state, then of course we'll look at the whole Anglophone crisis from a different perspective, and we'll begin to understand why the Anglophones
So before moving to Dixon, briefly, I've been talking of a while, which means that you are saying that the reason why we are unable to resolve this conflict is because we are looking at it from a perspective of
language,
like it's a region, like just a region,
any other region.
That's why it is difficult for them to understand. To provide concrete solution that will resolve it.
Exactly.
So which means it is lack of good faith.
It's lack of good faith, lack of political will. And as long as they won't see things that way, it will be very difficult to resolve the Anglophone crisis.
What would be your advice to the government of Cameroon, looking at the fact that we have had a surge in violence across the northwest and the southwest region? And this, if we put 366 days minimum, at least 2 people are killed in the northwest and at least 1 is killed in the southwest. 366 days. And looking at the fact that we are moving, we are counting years. What would we advise the government to resolve this?
Mr. Javis, which is preferable? individual prosperity or general prosperity?
General.
I think any common sense human being will say general prosperity. What will make you feel better? You living in a very big house and moving around the street, seeing beggars everywhere, or still living in a nice house, modest house, and walking down the streets, seeing everybody living happily, which will make you feel better?
Modest.
Good. So I think if you ask me to advise the government, they should be committed to seeing the end to this crisis. It begins with commitment. What Dr. Barrister Hassan said, administrative will. That commitment should be there. And commitment don't just come up. Commitment comes based on ideology, upbringing, moral ethics. Those are the things that bring commitment. So you can't see a serial killer, you say, oh, be committed to good things. No, he's a serial killer. His upbringing is killing. So I'm saying, because there are a lot of people within the government who don't even want to see the crisis come to an end, because they love the violence. They
are benefiting.
Yeah, they enjoy the fiasco. You know, but I still also know within the government there are some good, kind-hearted people who are very disgruntled.
I want to see the crisis
come to an end. So those are the set of people I'm talking to, that they should develop the will. They should use every diplomatic channel to see into it that the right experts come into play. Because if we look at evolution of crisis based on crisis analysis, crisis has stages. I'm not an expert to tell you the stages, but I know that crisis have stages. I think where we are now, we need experts who understand crisis management. It's no longer political talking.
Most of these experts were not even invited to the measure.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm talking. I'm advising the politicians who still have good heart, okay, who are tired of the bloodshed, who still have good heart, who are tired of the bloodshed. They need experts, okay? Because how do you now win trust of two parties that have already declared themselves enemies? I don't know if you understand. Our brothers who have picked up arms, they see the government, members of government, as their enemy, and the members of government see them as enemy. Now, when you look at that scenario, how do you think trust can come in? You need an expert who would de-escalate their ideologies and then put it at a level where they can sit and then dialogue. It happened in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Ibrahim Traoré brought himself down and talked with his friend who went on the other side of the camp, pick up arms, fighting against his government, and declared him, Ibrahim Traoré, as number one enemy, not only for the separatists, but the whole country. Ibrahim Traoré brought himself down, went, sat on a table with him, and tried to see if he can change the ideology of his own friend who went into military training. They were together in military training. They received the same discipline. That is what I call maturity. So we need our politicians to reach a level of maturity whereby they can accept certain things. Not that it's correct, but for the sake of moving forward, because we spend a lot of money on security, Mr. Javis. That same amount of money can be channeled to development. Why are we spending so much money on bullets? Well, we can spend the same amount to support small and medium-sized enterprises and see how Cameroonians can be stabilized.
The money you spend on fuel from recognizance mission for the
huge sum of money is being spent alone on security.
10 years.
For 10 years. That's money that would have been used for prosperity. That's why I started by asking a question. Do you love to be prosperous alone and all around you have beggars? And your answer was no.
And when there's beggars, there's insecurity.
And when there's beggars, there's insecurity. You are not safe. When people know you have money and they are hungry, you can't be safe. So, we can work our way out of this as a nation. There is no nation that have not been through crisis. Let's consider this as our own crisis, but let our politicians have goodwill for this nation. Try to leave a legacy where children will talk about you, generations to come will talk about you positively. So, I have said they need expert. Where we are now, they need expert. Any politician that go out there, you are going to, nobody will listen to you. Even if they listen to you as you are living, they are laughing at you. And the frustration is escalating with the down price of cocoa.
Cocoa. Price of cocoa has great.
It's now 800 now.
The indicators are there.
It's 800 per kilo.
Somebody may be owing 10 million in a credit union. Where do you want to get the money? You will go and start doing kidnapping.
You see, kidnapping as a lucrative.
It's a lucrative business. He will join the other side, kidnap people. Why? Because when things are happening, the people who are supposed to start having state talks with all the stakeholders are not doing their job.
Recently, I had 5 religious personalities kidnapped in the Northwest
The
region.
phone is they are not even
So,
communicating.
They don't even
That's what
communicate.
is even annoying. So without the media, social media platforms, and the
No Cameroonian will know what's going on.
Got now the government of Cameroon has not officially given a statement whether
They don't even acknowledge, they don't even talk about the killings. They don't talk about it. The Minister of Communication was supposed to be addressing the nation.
yeah, or the Minister of Defense,
Or the Minister
at least a
of
communication
Defense.
to explain that okay, there was an attack on so and so and so.
And this is the measure we're taking.
Yes.
Calm down, don't panic.
Nobody has
the
confirmed
state,
within the
we
government
are
whether
on
the
it.
soldiers were
And
killed in the cocoa or not. It's just the video that went out on social media.
so we
and
can say it's a Mumu government.
you can see it's a movement.
No, I can say it's a Mumu government. Yeah, so we want our leaders to develop true love for this country and see to it that this thing come to an end so we can all thrive our way out of this abject poverty to a country of prosperity, land of promise, land of glory. This country is going to be, mark my words, one of the strongest country in the world, this Cameroon. But that will not happen if we keep having quick leaders who fake certificates and doing all kind of funny things, all kind of useless rituals,
Okay.
plunging the country into abject poverty while they thrive with their families out of the country in big hotels, and Cameroonians are suffering. It will come to an end. Thank you, Mr. Javis.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Do the leaders of this country, do they really mean what they sing as far as the anthem is concerned, or they sing it as just a chorus?
Well, Mr. Javis, our leaders are just unbelievable. Sometimes we have the impression that they don't even know what their duties and responsibilities are.
Because an MP in Batibo was asked a question during this parliamentary session that are people going to talk about the Anglophone crisis? And he said there have been discussions that dialogue is a process, that people are dialoguing even their houses, that they are dialoguing.
You see, that's the problem, because I'll first of all like to say that their mandate is first of all illegal. That extension which was being issued through the presidential decree extending their mandate till December, of course, is illegal, because the constitution was very clear, and in the spirit of the legislator, the president or their extension could only be done once, and after that extension, elections were supposed to be organized. But instead, after that extension of 1 year, which was being issued, I think, in the month of July 2024, extending from the 10th of March 2025 to the 30th of March 2026, we had another extension. So that just goes to show that even those who are there now, their mandate is illegal. And it goes alongside with their incompetence. As I earlier on said, our leaders don't know their roles when it concerns governing the state of Cameroon. Article 2 of the Constitution states that sovereignty belongs to the people and is being exercised through the executive and the legislative powers. Now, our Constitution provides for the responsibilities of the executive and also the responsibilities of our members of parliament. And one of the striking responsibilities of our members of parliament is that it's written in Article 15 that the members of the parliament represent the people. They represent the interests of the people. So it means that being a member of the parliament goes beyond the interest of your own political party. The moment you are being elected as a member of the parliament, a member of the National Assembly, your duty is to safeguard the interest of the people of Cameroon. But I would like to tell you that most of our MPs today, I even ask myself if they even read the constitution, if they even have an idea of their duties. And that's the reason why you will realize that we are in a country, but it feels like there is no legislative power. It feels like those who are there are completely ignorant, are incompetent of their responsibilities. So there is no surprise. There is no surprise where in a country where transparency, which is a main pillar of governance and accountability, is not practiced. So these MPs, they don't communicate. They don't try to give us a summary of what was being discussed during their sessions. And when you ask them questions, they seem totally lost. They seem totally lost. So it becomes difficult then for them to come out and stand, because they are first of all ignorant. They don't even know why they are there. And I strongly believe that they were being positioned there by the regime, who use financial methods, which use economic methods and other methods to put them in those positions. So at the end of the day, they owe an allegiance to the regime, to the executive power, and they will not say anything against the orders of the executive power. And we have to go back to even realize that even the decision that was being taken by the executive power, declaring war over the Anglophone regions, or in the Anglophone regions.
No, people are saying that the president declared war, but on the separatists, not the Anglophone.
No.
On the separatists who attack military.
Yes.
He said if you attack a military, then it's war against you. Have not the not the Anglophone people.
Of course. He declared war against the separatists.
Yes.
I agree. Now the question is, what is the procedure a president of the republic has to take to declare war in a territory? Normally, a president cannot be declaring war in his own territory, because that's not a war in the real sense. War, you are fighting against another country. So you see that the way our leaders behave, they behave like those
colonial masters.
No, not that like colonial masters, but they behave like in their minds, Southern Cameroon is a state and we are going to fight those who are for Southern Cameroon. You see the way they think. That is why he declared a war.
So they are indirectly acknowledging that it's a state.
Indirectly, they are acknowledging that these people want to come back with that thing that they were saying or that they were 50, 60 years back.
So are you saying that the parliament refusal to talk about the Anglophone crisis is an acknowledgement probably that they don't want to talk about a crisis or a different country?
No, what I'm trying to say is that might be, but what?
But how do you understand that 10 years down the road, the parliament has not talked about it?
Has not said anything. Now, might be that should be another perspective or another way of analyzing it. But what I am trying to say here is that the president taking that decision had to propose it, because we are 10 years today. So it's not like an administrative decision which normally should be carried out in 30 days. Because when you take an administrative decision that affects a particular part of a territory, and we are talking about the Anglophone crisis, it's not about theft, it's not about terrorism, we are talking about the Anglophone crisis, which is one of those fundamental problems that affects our unity, because our unity is one of the fundamental principles that brought to the existence the Cameroon we have today. So anything concerning or impacting on that unity must be taken very, very seriously. Now, you cannot take a decision against separatist fighters just like that, knowing fully well that the impact and the consequences of your declaration might be very heavy. So I believe and I think that due to the fact that after 30 days they were not able to crush the
Separatists.
separatist fighters. Of course, taking further action had to be tabled through a bill, a presidential bill being dropped at the parliament, so that the parliament should give the president of the republic the full powers to continue. Now we know that there are certain decisions that the president of the republic cannot take without consulting the parliament. Just like the extension of the mandate of parliamentarians, he had to table the bill to them for their extension. We know that the president cannot take certain decisions if he is not given mandate
By the parliament.
to issue ordinances. Now we realize that the president is now acting ultra vires. So due to the fact that there wasn't this was not being crushed in a considerable period of time, it had to be tabled in the parliament. Now, what did the parliament do when they realized that the plans which the president had to subdue the separatists didn't work? Because it is clear that today we are realizing that it didn't work. Because we are 10 years today and it seems to be escalating. They did not do anything, and that is the reason why I will always say that our members of parliament don't even know the role they are playing. The constitution of Cameroon is very, very clear. Article 2 states that sovereignty belongs to the people and it is exercised by the executive and the legislative power. They did not, in the constitution, it did not give more authority to the executive power. It did not give more authority to the legislative power. It put them as equals. So the legislative power is supposed to be conscious of the fact that, according to Article 15, they are representing the people of Cameroon, and they have that obligation to put the president of the republic, the executive power, on check. And that's where they have failed.
But that's not done.
That's not done.
We have rarely seen the president come to the parliament, and only Never. When it is on the oath swearing, when the president comes.
That's the only time
where the president comes to the parliament.
He doesn't defend the bill.
It's just unbelievable.
But there are moments where we see Trump go to the State of the Union and address.
Go 3 times a year minimum.
Yes, and address the joint session.
Of course. You know, sometimes we might even think that, okay, it might be due to his age, there are certain things that he shouldn't do. But the fun is that even when he was younger, he never did. So you see, these are the things that really frustrate some of us who are Cameroonians.
Okay.
To see that we have a leader who is not playing his role, who has never even played his role, and we don't even know which type of books he reads. Because today we have leaders who have made themselves kings, whereas leaders are supposed to be servants, just like our Lord Jesus Christ said. That he who thinks that he is greater, he who thinks that he should be the leader of the others, should put himself as servant of the others and serve them. Unfortunately, we are 43 years in this mess, and we don't have to give up. We have to stand up and say that this is how things should be done. This is what a politician is supposed to know. This is what a member of parliament is supposed to know. This is what an executive leader is supposed to know. This is what the people expect from him. And together as a people, we should take the responsibility to put them on check. Because now today, due to the fact that our members of parliament are not playing their roles, every Cameroonian citizen, every voter should be conscious of the fact that the members of parliament have failed the nation. Okay. So it means that during the next or the upcoming municipal and legislative elections, they should use their voting power to sanction all the members
in other 8 months, 6 to 7 months.
Assembly. Exactly.
Engineer Dixon, let's move to the second topic. Or you have something to add for Moses?
I think my points are all made.
Okay, the GC bus scandal. GC is resuming tomorrow. The question many Cameroonians...
Resuming?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question that many Cameroonians are asking is, what was really the problem? What level of breach did the GC board experience? What is happening? Why haven't there been accountability to the people of Cameroon? What subject leaked? Was it leaked before? Did the others leaked? And how is it going to, how the others that were written, is it going to be affected? And also a lot of questions. What was your opinion when you heard that there was a leak?
I almost cried, because when GCE is like the pride of the Anglo-Saxon culture as at now, one of the inheritance we had from the colonial masters. Before it was the London GCE, then it came down to the Cameroon GCE. Why it was the London GCE, I believe the exam had weight equivalent to British certificates. At the time you were a GCE holder, you can easily get a scholarship to Canada. Many Cameroonians profited. UK was automatic. Yeah, it was automatic when you had certain results. The embassy gets to you. That's how prestigious the exam was. So when I saw the minister's communique, my heart bled. And I believe anybody who is of the educational family, be it higher education, secondary or basic, and hears such a thing, will feel very bad like I did, because that scandal can reduce the strength
Of the GC.
of the examination and the certificate. We may not see it now, but know that other educational families internationally are watching the scandal and how it's being monitored. They can be watching the scandal through their embassies. Be careful. So these are things that we should be careful about. And when I heard the minister explaining the actions that have been taken, also that the matter has been forwarded to the police for investigation, it breaks my heart the more. It means DC don't have experts who can conduct thorough investigations at the board. They don't have text that sanctions defrauders, those who leak exams. This is not a police issue. It's an opportunity for GCE board to stamp its authority and protect the integrity of this exam.
Yeah.
The GCE board itself should put our resources under the supervision of the Ministry of Secondary Education.
Because the board is an independent
I'm
board.
coming. It's an independent board to track down all these defaulters and bring them to book before the eyes of Cameroonians.
We have not heard that anybody has been arrested.
Nothing. The police don't need academicians and learned people. And if GCE board leaks, it's an inside job. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that. It's an inside job. 2-3 investigations, you capture the perpetrator. You don't need police. And the moment the perpetrator is captured, it should be sanctioned according to the text governing the GCE board. They should have a document. People should lose their jobs. People should be sanctioned. They should, I don't know, something has to happen, but it shouldn't go to the police. Because going to the police means that GCE board don't have disciplinary sanctions strong enough to deter defrauders, meaning it weakens its powers. But growing up, I know how powerful GCE board was in the days of Omawo Yembe. Well, only that name alone, you panic.
They tell you that June is
no, when GCE board just ring your phone as a teacher, that are you where we can discuss? You say yes, okay, shift a little bit. There is something, you know, there's a problem, and GCE board will convocate you. You appear in Boya, and in Boya they may keep you there 3 days. In that 3 days, you are thinking the person you have come to see is seeing you, but you can't see him. So I want to solicit that this is an academic issue. It's not a felony or so, and it should be treated academically. All the perpetrators should be investigated, and they should be investigated. They should be captured, and they should be sanctioned academically.
Yeah.
Now, I would just want to use the opportunity to give the way forward. I believe this is still happening because this board has refused to evolve, and it brings me to question as to the competence of those who are managing the board. Mr. Javis, we're in a fast age. This paper-based movement of paper, they will carry paper from Boya, they are traveling with paper, doesn't make sense. They should go electronic. And all members who will be intervening in that electronic movement of exam questions should be vetted, their integrity checked, and all of that. Now, what do I mean by that? Maybe take time to explain it to them, because they might learn from what I'll say. They should have encrypted papers electronically. They should have a system, just like they have the registration system now, where students are registering electronically. They should have paper distribution system, electronic paper distribution system, where all the HODs or the chiefs of the various papers,
centers,
they select 3 papers or 4.
Yes.
In those 3 papers they are selected, they don't know the one that will come.
Yes.
So you have blocked them there.
Okay.
There is now head of exam coordination. He has his code. He is the one that selects and key them into the system, scanned and key them into the system. They are there in the system. The vetted members who are in those centers where they will be printed, so they are going to set a special printing room in all the centers. So what they call how do they call this center where they keep papers? They have a name. Instead of that center where they keep papers now, it becomes
room. They have a safe.
A safe room. Yeah, it's no longer a safe now. It becomes a printing room, which is also protected biometrically. And one individual who has been vetted for integrity is the one that accesses that room for the printing on the day of the writing. So that commander who is at the GCE board, he is there. His own is to unlock. It's when he unlocks at the GCE board that you can print at that center. Are you seeing that? And the printing should be done 3 hours to writing. Are you seeing?
3 hours even too much. 1 hour.
1 hour to writing. Yes. Yeah. Fast printer should be. So what is happening? The GCE board is going to spend, but this investment will bring the integrity back.
It will even be cheaper.
And it may be cheaper because they'll need lesser.
Yeah, all the transportation.
Yeah, transportation will be ceased. Yeah. So that man there, when they're writing paper 1, he unlocks. When he unlocks, the person is having access to the printing, he goes and puts his biometric at the 1 hour. That man unlocks just at the time he has to be printed.
And unlock and wait.
And he waits.
When so it's time to write, you just enter the hall.
That's it. You print, as you print, then now you're handing now to the how do they call them, the superintendent who is going to
distribute
just to administer.
Yeah, administer.
You understand? You have solved the problem. So all this mess should stop. And believe me, if GCE don't take appropriate measures, it will be fed internationally. Students who will be coming with a GCE
for 2 weeks a national
exam, it will be fed internationally. You will see how students holding the GCE will be lambasted and at embassies and even in schools abroad. So I am soliciting that this is an opportunity for the GCE board to take powers back into their hands and see to it that they restore the integrity of this, our prestigious examination that we inherited from the English subsystem, the Anglo-Saxon system. It should be protected. Thank you, Mr. Javis.
Thank you very much. Now, my follow-up to you is that what is your advice to the students?
I think it's not the fault to the students, but they are feeling the weight. So they shouldn't panic. They should stay focused and maintain their composure to the exams and do their best. While we are hoping that the GCE board also will take appropriate measures to restore the integrity of the examination, so our children can be well respected, not just in this country, out of this country.
Okay, thank you very much. We will be getting to the other members of panel, but first let me read on these questions which are just coming in. This one is from this one is from Cho. It says, hello Mr. Javis, nice discussion, very enlightening. I am enjoying the program from Noni. I am called Tumbang. A special happy Father's Day and Sunday to the triumphant engineer Dixon. This right, it says, happy Sunday to you guys. If you enjoy the program, I want to thank Barrister Song for this brilliant performance. This is why we now must come together and support him. Before, I used to hate his rhetoric. Now I see how consistent he is. It means that he can earn our trust. This is Sango writing from Douala. This other one right, it says happy Sunday to you guys in the studio, nice program. This other one says happy Sunday to you guys. Kudos, barrister. I don't know whether you are still going to ban.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. Of course,
I think Barrister should answer if he's still going to ban beer.
Yeah, I can give an answer. The truth about it is that ab initio, the goal was not a complete ban. The goal was a restriction.
Yes, to regulate.
From a political point of view, if you want to achieve an objective, you have to strike higher. You need to have a higher target. So if you're for example, you have an exams and you're struggling to have 20, it permits you to get closer to 20, have 16 or 17. But if your target is 17, you might likely end up with a 14 or 13. So my goal was actually regulation, and the reason was simple. We know that alcohol today is the main risk factor of so many diseases. For example, cancers, which we are having an increase in the rates of cancers and their mortality rate. It's a risk factor for hypertension. It's a risk factor for diabetes. It's a risk factor for liver disease. It's a risk factor for kidney disease. So when you look at all of these things and you look at the load in terms of finance that we will have
to spend
to cure people, knowing fully well that I had proposed a free healthcare system. So it means that is the state that had to take upon himself to finance the health or to finance treatments in Cameroon. So what do I have to do as a leader? I have to make sure that I should cut down the expenditures. So to cut down the expenditures, I have to work more on prevention. I'll take a very simple example. If you have a simple malaria, it can be treated with 2,000 francs. But now, just by buying tablets. But if you have severe malaria, it's going to cost about 60, 70,000. So my goal as a political leader is to make sure that no Cameroonian gets to the point of severe malaria. And what do I have to do? I have to focus more on prevention. Mosquito nets, clean environment,
so
good hygiene.
To reduce beer.
So of course it's to reduce
okay,
it.
Thank
and
you.
If possible, if people can stop, then it will be the best. So I think I've had so many people who came to me and like, since you said this alcohol thing you've been talking about it, we are going to try to reduce and even stop.
Thank you.
Because it also causes addiction too. I think that's another issue too. Addiction.
Thank you.
I see today many people are struggling to fight drugs, but you cannot fight drugs without fighting alcohol because they all go together.
Okay, thank you very much. We are joined by Ake Damaris. Damaris, happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us. It's a privilege to have you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, we are on the second topic looking at the GC scandal. We all here at one point in time have got in contact with the GC. We wrote the GC, and you are a student lawyer. And when you look at all these issues as far as the GC is concerned, tomorrow GC is resuming. First, your message to the students, and probably how do you think this situation was handled?
The Ministry of Education, I personally think the resolution to pause or give a break and reschedule the exam was very fair enough and logical. But I would also like for us to consider the fact that it also played a great role to those who had prepared themselves genuinely for these exams, and bringing a break for them and later rescheduling it may end up discouraging some of them.
Psychologically, it's going to break their morale.
Yeah, the morale. Imagine that. And I feel like we don't only have to look at the section of the students themselves, because there is a problem that is posed within the internal board themselves. Students cannot just have access to questions like that. What is the measures that one has to take to prevent this from happening in the next session? So, but for those who genuinely prepared, all I have to advise that if there are some doubts in their materials, they should top up and work more better so that whatever is coming up for them, they will be very much prepared.
Now, this is probably not the first time. I remember in 2007 or so, there was a paper that was changed because it's leaked in the morning.
Yes.
We had to rewrite a different paper because, and that morning, that was when the paper came in. The question is, how transparent has the board been since this saga came in? We have not had any press conference. We don't know the exact level of the leak. We have not heard about anybody being arrested. We are kept in the dark, and they are resuming tomorrow. And we are talking about a national exam where our reputation internationally is being affected, and we are not having answers. Parents don't even know what paper was leaked to the level.
Yeah.
If they can identify midway that it has leaked, what happened with the other papers that have been written?
Yes.
Are they marking? How is it going to be marked?
So, me, I feel like there should be a severity of deterrence in this issue. Like you said, there is a case back then, 2024, where there was approximately a case of 1,000 malpractice, and I don't think the severity of this case was taken into consideration. And if the institution or the government institution can consider that those who are involved in fraudulent acts of this nature can be punished accordingly to their fault, it will be much more better. As a law student, I believe according to the penal code, there is a law that actually condemns that act in accordance to section 163, one of penal code. If people who involve themselves in corruption, like we have invigilators who involve themselves in having papers beforehand and giving them to their students, if they can be punished in accordance to their act, not only like banning the students, yes, sending them into in prison as the law states, will deter others from pursuing another stuff like this the next time. Yes.
Thank you very much for moving to Simon. Let me take this message. Good afternoon and happy Father's Day to you all in the studio. I really love the GC idea our daddy brought up, and I'm so happy for that. Sidoni from Douala talking about the idea you talked about the electronically. So yeah, father now. I know a father. Are you know a father? Happy. I started the edition by saying that children are watching. It's Dr. Asong that is still has a lot of people that looked up to him as a father. And Simon, looking at this GC issue, first of all, in your opinion, has it been well managed? The saga.
Thank you, Mr. Javis. I think it has been well managed with the fact that they've pushed the GC ahead and rescheduled papers which they will give to the students to write again. But that is a lot of cost for the economy because it means a lot to print more than 10,000 papers. It's a cost which the government should have avoided that cost. And one other thing is I believe because over the years we've been having issues like this.
Yes. Which have been handling low key.
Exactly. So for me, I think that the government should put in place what we call digital jammers during these exam periods, because one thing that eases the leakages of papers is communication and online communication, because you'll find sites online which provide you pay before you can get a paper, and you know how much money people make from that thing. So, and it's very risky for the country, a country like that, you see, to have their information, just randomly online, with people asking you for up to 2,000. I mean, how can you sell the country's information?
Integrity.
Yes.
You are selling the country's integrity for 2,000.
And you see, it's damaging. Especially for those that are really hardworking and want to make things. It's not easy. So one thing I noticed too is what we call digital jammers during that period. Before students write exams, they take like maybe from 5 a.m. in the morning, it sees all networks and make sure
in the environment.
Yes, in the environment, because it's going to cost, it's going to like another place where I saw this technique implemented was during the Pope's coming.
Yeah, we call it the barrage jammer.
Yes.
It jams the network in the environment,
Exactly.
so you cannot easily
nobody
communicate
can
with phones and the rest.
So if anybody had to plan anything, or you know that is on your own.
Yes.
Yes.
There are only some specific people who can access the network.
Access the network. So they
Like
did
what you were
implement
explaining.
on that.
Mhm.
They did to implement on that. So another thing I think the government can put in place, whereby it's going to be ordered. I don't know how to create spies who are students. Yeah, you know, the government can have children that can sit down and
So they will have integrity.
yes, so that their work is to give a report on how it works.
And you should give them a channel to
Yes,
report.
to report, and it should be a strict channel because we know how this country is sometimes. Yes.
If people can say the nation
Yes,
was 2000.
Exactly. So why don't we have people who are out there doing that? So we need a let me say a security system built to combat this problem. And also this problem too also comes from the administration, because upon leaving the papers with the administration, those who are in charge of it, I think they should buy the idea of biometrics so that when you live with this person, that the person has a biometric to access. I wrote the Cambridge exam, and I saw a similar, take the way exams were being given, and the exams come in the morning, like 30 minutes before you write. That's when the papers come. So those kind of things. That's how the British people treat their house. So we should buy that system. We should buy that technique. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but I stay with you. But see now, we have not heard anybody has been arrested or detained. We don't know the subjects that leaked. Why is the GC board treating it as it is a secret service? This is a national issue. Parents need to. Also, this second question will come to Barrister Assom, because
The registrar should give a statement.
Yes, in normal circumstances, the parliament is supposed to call for these people for a parliamentary hearing, because this is the nation we're talking about.
True. I think that's right, because every year we hear those issues, but where do they go to? And then I did some research online, and the research, I did a quiz, which I asked that how can we combat this issue. So one of, it gives the answer A, B, C. So one of the answers was that the government makes money on this. I mean, if AI can propose that kind of thing, it's dangerous. That's to tell that they understand our system. So where are the people who are committing all these issues? They need to put up a council. I don't know if there is a council for that, but I think they need to put up an active council for that, to combat this issue, where you have people who, commit these malpractices. Because first of all, it comes from the administration. Because the minister herself said people are making money. People are making money from it. I mean, what is the fine? I think they'll make more money on the fine, because how much is the fine? If you default GCs, it's 25,000 to 2 million. So how much will they collect from that? And those are paying bribes. So we need to work on a system which is strict to punish, to deter on that.
Okay, Dr. Barrister Assom. In Nigeria, the GC board director or registrar is an independent board, would have first granted a press conference, called to the Senate to testify what happened, brief the member of Senate, because this is a national exam. But we are 2 weeks down. No Cameroonian can be proud to say, I know exactly what the leak is. I know the subject that leaked. But we have not been told that the exam was suspended because there was a leakage. And also the Minister of Secondary Education herself confirmed that people are making money from this. So who are these people? What are their names? What are their offices? Have they been arrested? Nobody. We have not had this. What is happening, Doctor? But yeah,
and they are on social media.
Yeah, they're on Facebook.
Mr. Javis is funny, but there's no surprise. We are not surprised with what is going on now in this country. When they heard of something is rotten, then automatically the body will be affected. We have seen bad governance in every square meter of the management of this regime. And of course, the management of the national examinations will not be out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Minister of Secondary Education, Madame Nalova Lyonga, she's known for disorder. She's known for disorder. It's not the first time we are hearing that name. called Mami Nanova. We remember at the time where students were being beaten in Boya. She was the vice chancellor of Boya. At the time where there was a lot of conflict like that, she had students beaten, well trashed. So we are not surprised.
That was 2016 November.
Yes, November.
2016.
And related to
the
Anglophone crisis.
2016 November.
So it's not surprising. You know, when you have a leader who calls for the police, for the forces of law and order to come and trash students who are fighting for the preservation of their English culture and English education, it just shows that you yourself, you don't care about that educative system. And that is what we are seeing today. Now, I think that the problem is beyond the issue of questions leaking. I think that the problem is beyond us thinking that there is corruption left and right, because we know this country, we have been #1 for corruption. So nobody will tell me that in the exams that are being carried out in this country there is no corruption. It's impossible. There will always be corruption, there will always be funny things that will take place. But now the question is, how are these things being managed? I remember when I was writing my medical concours entrance into the Faculty of Health Science. That was 2006. There was a scandal where the exams were being organized, and due to the fact that Professor Lambi at the time organized these elections and made sure that it was those who merited their places who actually passed, the Minister of Higher Education told him that no, that list cannot be published. He published a list.
Yeah, that was what caused the judges' protest in UB, the UPSU.
Exactly, the UPSU.
Yeah, that led to the fallen heroes. People
died. So you realize that most of our institutions are not really independent. And you will see that when it concerns appointing the registrar of the GCE board, it's done by presidential decree.
It's a board, it's an independent board.
It's an independent board, but this something happened. There's a bigger conflict to this. That's what I'm trying to say. That's a picture I want to put forth. There's something underneath. So it's a presidential decree, you understand, that appoints the registrar. Now, the Minister of Secondary Education plays the role of being the tutor, you see, to actually guide out if there's any problem, can come and arbitrate. You see. So now the question is, does the Minister of Secondary Education, is she in good relationship with
the registrar?
That's the question. Because
the minister is appointed, the registrar is appointed.
It's appointed. So now you see that the registrar is not scared of the minister.
Yeah, it's not answerable to the minister.
It's not answerable to the minister.
It's answerable to the head of state.
It's answerable to the head of state. You see, so now that's where the problem now comes in. And I believe that those two are on loggerheads. And now to pull the other person down, what does the Minister of Secondary Education has to do? She has to play the role that we are playing usually, advocating, denouncing, and the rest. And that is the reason why she came out on media to denounce those things, so that she will use it now as a channel to suspend everything. You see, and say that no, there's fraud, and based on
there's fraud.
No, what I'm trying to say is that you know, when GC examinations are organized, they ask for questions, teachers to set questions. You see, there is a bank of questions. There are more than enough questions. The questions can be changed at any time. The questions can be changed at any time. It's 1 second. My mother is a teacher. She sets questions for HND and the rest, and she says, I know the other sending left and right. So there is a bank of questions. It's not like there are only 3 questions, or the questions that are on the paper are the only questions that existed. There are so many other questions that exist. So it was very easy to just change the questions, and everything stays low-key and permit the GCE board to preserve its image. And later on, now after the examiner call for... not even call for. They can still conduct their investigations while everything is going on. They have changed the questions. They arrest the people that have been committing the... As they have been doing before. As they have been doing before. And they come and expose these people and say, okay, these are the people that were actually offenders committing the crime of fraud and all those type of things. You see, and you know that the penal code actually condemns.
So if I get you in a nutshell, you are saying that this is causative.
Of course, it's clearly causative, and we have seen it. It's not the first time we are seeing.
Power tussle.
Yes, power tussle. Even in our Cameroon Medical Association, I've seen power tussle between the Minister of Health and our president, and it usually happens when we have independent institutions, and like the GCE board is an independent institution, and we know that even in the regime, even among the CPDM people, they are on loggerheads. They don't agree amongst themselves. So this, I think that CPDM and their members should not come and be washing the dirty linen. And that's why we take none of them serious. Whether it be the Minister of Secondary Education or the Register, we don't take them serious because we know that they are all CPDM people. How can you be appointing a Minister of Secondary Education in Cameroon who doesn't know how to speak French? Does it make sense?
No, the minister not to speak French. Just
No. What I'm trying to say is that the level is not enough for her to hold that position.
No.
And that is why it gives me the impression that does it mean that they when they organize the back that there's no fraud there? Do you think that there's no fraud there? Why is it only focused on the English section?
Because of integrity. No, integrity.
It's not about integrity. What I'm trying to say is that you see, we are in a country where people do things. I think they do it without even listening.
In a zoo.
Because what she has done has instead proven to us how incompetent she is.
And
proven to us that even the regime is incompetent.
You cannot say the minister is incompetent.
We have said it here. She came and said that there's fraud. She has not given us any account after of what they have done.
Yes.
No transparency,
yes.
no accountability.
Yes.
So where are we? Are we in a banana republic?
No, we are not. We are not.
No.
The minister has come out clearly to say the integrity of the exam has been compromised, and therefore there is need to restructure and put the integrity back on the table.
How do we even?
And that is why that is competency now.
Sometimes I even believe that might be the questions that they gave some of their people. Now everybody is in possession of it. They have to reorganize the exams to give time so that they will give the results to the people. No, because we are in a country where we believe in nothing.
No, these are hypotheses.
Yes, the hypothesis, and we have the right to raise the hypothesis. If the leaders are not accountable.
I'm not giving on that.
Why don't you have names up to now? Why don't you have names up to now?
Probably
there should be names.
Maybe the person that is supposed to. Maybe the person that is supposed to.
Mr. Javis.
The Minister of Secondary Education would have been dismissed, and the registrar would have been dismissed.
Okay.
This is a country we are not serious.
Thank you.
We are not serious at all.
Yes. The issue is probably the person that is supposed to come and publish us the names. Maybe the person is still working on foot because we are still waiting. Engineer, your advice to the students?
The students should maintain their calm, and they should keep working hard and playing their roles as students, preparing for exams as though nothing happened. I know psychologically some of them will be unbalanced because some of their teachers have given them so-called SPECO. Please, dear students, don't believe in SPECO, because the human brain is evaluated on 3 reasoning levels. I always say we have memorization, we have deduction, and we have induction. For you to survive in this world of today, you must be extremely analytical and creative. So don't encourage, if a teacher come and say this SPECO to pass, say I don't want it, you are killing me. Because after that you are SPECO, you feel you know something, A grade, your brain is empty. When we put a problem in front of you, just to give a definition to that problem, you will not be able. Set up clear strategy on how you approach that problem, you will not be able. So don't follow teachers who are telling you they are masters of SPECO. My dear children, don't follow them. It's better you have your C grade and you know that it is your analytical abilities, your discernment, dedication and hard work that earn you that C grade in the marketplace of the world. Once you start speaking, people will know you are different. But if you go and start following those teachers that give you SPECO, you are killing yourself. And when you come and meet us, we will know who you are. Thank you.
SPECO have bounced. SPECO have bounced. This is so yes. You hear? SPECO have what? SPECO have bounced. Damaris, what is your advice now for the parents and also for the students who are kind of afraid that maybe the marking this year will be very, very rigorous, looking at the fact that there have been a change in the exam?
Yes. I remember when I was writing the GC, it was very, very strict process for us. But I believe in hard work, as it is said. If you're well prepared, you obviously get through what you want. And I always have a lecturer that said, you fail to prepare, you be prepared to fail. So in as much as there was a break on the exams, I believe that those who want to prepare themselves for the new rescheduling exam will obviously make it. And for the parents themselves, let them not be scared. The exam has just been rescheduled. It has not been suspended. It has been rescheduled, and let them keep their fingers crossed. And those who merit it will pass, obviously.
Thank you very much. Before moving to Simon, let me take us a few messages. Good afternoon to you in the studio. I am Victor from Boya talking about the scandal of the GC, but this year it is a shame. I suggest the GC board should go digital, where each candidate will be provided with a machine where the question will be key in by board 5 minutes before the start of the exam, even though it will be expensive to the board. By providing machines to all the candidates and to reduce the cost, they should add the registration fee for candidates. People don't even have
money to
And even paying school fees.
Greetings in the house. I am Salim Musa from Suzanne. Nothing much to add, but praying this time around for a smooth writing and good luck for the candidate facing the second session comes Monday. This other right is happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think sacking the minister. Your message has been heard. Your message has been heard. Please, if you send us a message, don't be insulting, please. Just state your point. And good afternoon, Mr. Javis and the panelists in the studio. The June session will not produce any result. It is a normal political scenario, and as regards the leaked GC exams, the government has taught the Cameroonian youth that success is through we all through dash. We all know that Chiruma dash. Okay. You Pius Mutenga, message got it.
I've understood.
We have understood
your message.
Simon, what is your advice to the stakeholders? What if tomorrow we get up to hear that there is also another leakage? Because we have not been told what leakage, and we have not been told measures being taken to prevent the leakage. Are we really serious? Or do you agree with what Barrister Doctor said, that it is a political fight?
At that level, I don't know much what is going on behind, because we can really talk best if we know what is.
Yeah, but why are they not telling us what is happening?
We have information. We know those who leaked it. Well, we don't have them. So, well, for me, I can only encourage the students to prepare well. It only makes them better, especially for those who have studied. You can now know that those who were well prepared can answer during the exam. But I also feel bad for those who had, limited themselves to particular questions ready to write for that exam. Speco, people have used Speco. So I can't talk much on this unless we have more information.
There's also some people also are not going to be favored, because probably the setting that was there, some students who are genuinely prepared, it would have favored them. Now you are changing it, it's not going to favor them, because some people are going to pay the price. Not
Maybe that's
as Mr. Dixon said,
They should approach with open mind.
yeah, they should.
This one says the GC leakage was poorly managed. This is not the first time, and never in the history, if the GC board has the GC been postponed for up to 1 week, talk less of 2 weeks. The consequences are huge. It appears the GC board did not have a plan B, as it's usually the case. The minister talk the lead instead of the GC, take the lead instead of the GC. But up to now, no press conference have been given to the to this matter. By now, I expected suspect to have been arrested. Thank you, Nkwine Jacob, writing from Bamenda.
How would they arrest the suspect if it's somebody of the inner circle of the CPT?
This one says
we're behaving like we don't even know this.
This one says, happy
People
Sunday.
have stolen billions and arrested them.
Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. Who is making money, as the minister said? None. We're out of time, gentlemen. Thank you, Simon, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Javis.
And hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
Damaris, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
And hope we'll keep having you around.
Of course.
And of course, Barrister Dr. Asong Michael, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Javis, and I would like to encourage all our young Cameroonians to be reminded of the fact that they represent the future of this nation. They have to just work harder, and I think that they are going to make it with high flags.
Engineer Dixon, the man of Miami, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you very much for having me, and once more, happy Sunday to all our televiewers from Manfe, Wodikum, Tombe, Furawa, Kumba, Limbe, Boya. Thank you for having me, Mr. Javis.
Thank you very much, all those of you who took our time to participate on today's edition. Those messages which I did not read, please, I apologize, because when you send us a message, please keep it simple and don't insult. I also want to seize this opportunity to thank all those of you who watch us on Facebook, to say thank you very much. All those of you who are fathers, I want to seize this opportunity to wish you fathers happy Father's Day. Not those who have absconded their duties as fathers. Happy Father's Day to all the mothers who are managing the children whose fathers have run away. Happy Father's Day to you all, Mama. And all those of you who are doing fatherly duties, happy Father's Day to you. And also happy Sickle Cell Day to all those of you, because Dr. Sickle Cell Week, right?
Yeah.
So
sure.
I saw you.
Awareness.
Yes.
My junior brother is a sickle.
Okay.
But he's treated today.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's treated.
through what it transplant or genetic therapy.
We did a
Okay,
bone
then.
Okay, thank you. So,
But now he has come up with another solution, which is called gene editing.
okay.
So children from 0 to 5 years
Mhm.
who are born with sickle cell,
Yeah.
they can modify their
Their
DNA.
genes.
Okay.
So
Gene therapy.
the program
Wonderful.
is already running in Bamenda, is running
Okay.
in Chang.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we have given equipment for that.
Wow,
Okay.
that's good.
Yes.
So
To
you
test.
have to put us in contact with
Yes.
your
Okay.
brother,
Which
and
is-
let's do the
which is being
promotion.
funded by the World Bank too as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good.
So well, and as we said, I will give.
We're out of time.
Yes.
We're out of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This is a good news, and also it's a good news, and also it's a good news. It's a good news, and also it's a bad news to social aspect, to those who say that SS cannot get married. Some other person were hoping that, thank God, I'll marry the person now. So now there is. So thank you all. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter, and what should matter is that the truth is God. You can only kill the teller and not the truth. When you kill the teller, the truth remains to haunt you. My name is Tah Javis. Come on, commercial capital Douala. Until meet again, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.